Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, I'm traveling in Las Vegas. This is the hostel that I'm staying at. And last night I discovered that I still have a lot to work on with my relationship with my eating disorder. I noticed that a lot of my anger is fueled by food cravings, food binges, and all the rest. And that in the middle of fasting, I tend to handle a lot of conflict a lot better. So, you guys may remember earlier this year when I stayed in a different hostel, I'd gotten into a fight. At the time, I blamed something else for the fight. Now, looking back at it, it may have been food craving. At least food cravings could have contributed, added fuel to that fight. What had happened was I had traveled to Houston to go visit a girl that I had met on a dating app. And so the last day of the trip, I got back to the hostel and I was heartbroken and I balled up in my bunk bed. And one of my roommates, I don't want to say who was right or wrong, but he shouted a few things and it bothered me because I was already heartbroken about having to go home. And long story short, I could have done more to de escalate the situation. Yesterday, I had a roommate who was also anger inducing. He had been upset that I had been passing gas in the room. And the way he shouted at me and uh, he made some threatening remarks as well. But I was able to quickly de escalate. I was in the middle of fasting. Food was the last thing on my mind. And so, did I have anxiety yesterday? Of course I did. I'm going to an art show today, and so visiting a friend here too. And so, but without the food craving, pigeonholing what I was doing next, what I was thinking about next, and all that, the situation seemed a lot different, right? Food kind of adds a layer of pressure, adds a layer of haze, like cloudiness to the whole situation. It really does in a weird way. Similarly, with office politics, without food in the background, when I hear unpleasant situations at work, my boss saying something I don't want to hear, or coworkers having prejudices and all that, right? So, uh, one of the big problems I had at the last house that I lived in with roommates is that my roommate who owned the place, uh, gotta understand, I was working two jobs and a side hustle. So anytime I'm in that home, it's probably because I'm home for dinner. And so everything he said always came on a haze of, oh, I want to be eating something or something. And one thing that always bothers me a lot, and this is something I want to work on, is when I'm having my favorite meal, having it be punctuated by me having to open my mouth to say something. Now, if it's a conversation that's pleasant and I don't need to respond to, right? If somebody's complimenting my artwork and there's no response needed, that might not be the end of the world. But when somebody is upset about the state of their house and they're threatening to kick you out and you have to defend yourself, and oh my God, my delicious food, it creates a huge conflict, right? And so I wish I had sat down with what I should have done now that I've learned my lesson is that I should have woken up one Saturday morning when I'm not in the middle of a food craving, better yet, a Saturday when I'm thinking about fasting anyway, and sat down with him. Hey, last night, I'd love to resolve all of this with you, but eating is probably not the best time to do it. Can we set aside some time this week? And we could pick a time, and then I could decide to do a fast during that time. I should have done that. Now that I know myself and how food creates a lot of conflict for me. But in the long run, I also want to resolve this food conflict, being able to put my food down and resolve conflict without the edginess involved, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.